I've struggled with sleep since I was a teenager. I used to have awful insomnia where I'd only get about 3, maybe 4 hours of sleep. It took me a while to get a better routine for my sleep. And it wasn't until after my diagnosis with Crohn's that I decided, okay, I need to take this more seriously. I was sort of failing at A levels, and I was not being a good enough boyfriend, a good enough friend, a good enough family member because of it. And I just want to talk to you about the journey I had to get to the point where now I'm actually getting far better quality sleep, which is improving both my Crohn's symptoms, but also my general well-being as well, and my relationships with my loved ones. So when I was experiencing insomnia as a teenager, one thing that I had to change was my exercise routine. So, I mean, I used to be active in terms of playing sports, but that wasn't intense enough for me to begin this journey of improving my sleep. So when I was 17, 18, I joined a gym. I was super skinny, but back then, by the way. So, I was obviously shy and insecure about gymming because I had barely any muscle mass. I was small, I was skinny, but I just thought, why not try? And my sixth form had access to a gym for free, so I would go and I would use the machines, I would use some free weights, and I didn't really know what I was doing, but I think just picking up the weights and just doing something and being more comfortable with the equipment was the beginning of what now is a great relationship I have with the gym, where I love it. I love working out, I love lifting weights, I love doing cardio, I love taking my skipping rope outside and just skipping for 20 minutes. I genuinely enjoy these things, but obviously at the start it can be, one, overwhelming, and two, hard. But sometimes the best things in life are difficult. Once I started to regularly exercise and I joined a proper gym, not just a gym at my sixth form, I started to see better results with my sleep. Now, I would still have certain difficulties because I think my sleep hygiene wasn't great at the time, but what I did experience was I was getting sort of longer spells of deep sleep, and that was something that I hadn't experienced for 3 or 4 years when I was a teenager. And by the time I went to university, I was actually getting fairly adequate sleep, where I was in 6 to 8 hours. In 2018, when I experienced my worst sort of Crohn's flare-up, where I lost all that weight, 8 kilos in 3 weeks, my sleep was all over the place. I was obviously going through a difficult time, both with family, work, and relationships. I had a long-distance relationship where the person lived in another country. I had lost a close family member, and I had just changed jobs as well. Lots of plates spinning or not spinning, and that impacted my sleep. It took me a while to get a better routine for my sleep, and it wasn't until after my diagnosis with Crohn's that I decided, okay, I need to take this more seriously, because I have a chronic disease now, and my grandfather, he had colitis and he died from it, and I don't want to go down this route where I don't take this seriously and do nothing, and then either become completely reliant on medication without changing my lifestyle, and then ending up developing some kind of colon cancer, something I want to avoid. So in 2021 I started to track my sleep. I use a device like a smartwatch. The great thing about this is that it gives me data to analyze and work out sort of the habits that are impacting my sleep, maybe. Because once you have a big enough sort of set of data, you can start to see trends. You start to then spot, what did I do that night, which meant that I only got 1 hour of deep sleep and 7 hours of light sleep, or why was I constantly waking up 3 or 4 times throughout my sleep period, where I was awake for 5-10 minutes each time. These kind of data and insight into yourself is useful, because then you can start to take those positive steps to improve your sort of sleep hygiene. So just to summarize, sleep hygiene, if you don't know what it is, it's the healthy habits, behavior, and environment around your sleep. So things that are in your control that can be adjusted to help create better quality sleep for you. It's important to develop these sort of micro habits to improve your sleep. A few things that I've developed over the last couple of years that I do myself. One, which is really important for me, is making sure that my room temperature is at a low enough number, so then I can fall asleep and not be sort of overheated, because your body needs to reach a certain temperature to be able to then fall into a sleep state. So what I tend to do is leave the window open maybe an hour before I go to bed, so that way the room is nice and cool, which is important for me, but I'm sure it will be important for you. Obviously, as we spoke about earlier, physical activity is important. So doing some kind of physical activity during the day can then help your body feel more tired. That can then help you get to that better quality sleep and help you fall asleep much faster as well. So, you know, some kind of physical activity. You don't have to go and, you know, deadlift like 200 kg. You can just go for like a long walk, or take a skipping rope and do 20 minutes of skipping, or just going to the local park, like if you've got a calisthenics park, and doing some pull-ups, push-ups, jump squats or something. Just do something even for 20 minutes that will then help you in the evenings to feel a little bit more tired, and also then accomplished as well, because you feel good once you start to do some physical activity. Another thing that I started to do around 2020, this was before my diagnosis, but it did help with my sleep, was to wake up at a reasonable time and go for a walk before like you start work. So expose yourself to that sunlight and also do that physical activity at the same time. Get that natural light early in the morning, and then that sort of kickstarts your body's circadian rhythm, and hopefully by the evening you'll then have better quality sleep. A couple of other key points with sort of like your eating habits and staying hydrated, like drink plenty of fluids, particularly if you are somebody with Crohn's or colitis. I'm thirsty a lot more than the average person, so I tend to carry a big bottle of water with me. I will have 2 to 3 litres on average, but sometimes 4 litres per day. Just making sure that you have a window between 8 in the morning, 8 in the evening, where you just are staying hydrated and sort of topping up your body with water, with electrolytes. Try and finish eating, 2 to 3 hours before sleep as well, because then this will make sure that your body doesn't have those insulin spikes when you are trying to sleep, because that interrupts your sleep, and it means that your body can't go into that sort of deep sleep. Something that myself and my partner do is we have calming teas. There's a thing called sleepy tea, which is great. Chamomile, some have valerian extract as well. Recommend staying maybe clear or not having it that often if you do have IBD, because valerian tends to be an irritant, so like it's not great if you do have Crohn's or colitis. I've taken some before and it does help me sleep. It helps me get deep sleep. It helps me have the craziest dreams, but then I tend to have like a minor flare and diarrhea for like 2 or 3 days after taking valerian, so maybe avoid that. Try not to drink any fluids an hour before bed, and also making sure that you have no screen time at least 30 to 45 minutes before you try and go to sleep as well. These small habits should hopefully mean that you have better quality sleep, you wake up with more energy, and hopefully over time you start to see improvements with your Crohn's symptoms and your consistency with stool, and generally just feeling a lot better. So message me if you want any more guidance on sleep habits and sleep hygiene. I'm happy to help. I'm happy to send any free resources I have around this for you. And I think the main thing is just that we get better sleep, so then we can finally stay healthy.